Manifesting what you desire is one of the biggest topics that people grapple with across the world. Everybody has something in their life that they want, but they're not quite sure how to get, or maybe it hasn't happened to them. They haven't received it in the time frame that they were hoping for. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some tips and techniques that I've learned over the past 30 plus years of studying personal growth and human potential. I'm Teresa Schley Valenzuela. I'm a psychic medium, spiritual teacher, author, and transformational image consultant. I'm sure there's something else in there I forgot, but that's enough for now. So here's some interesting things that I've learned about manifesting over the years. Now, I've taken pretty much every possible goal-setting course that you can imagine. There are some tried and true principles that go across the board. First thing is, you need to know what you want. What's really important about that is a lot of people say that they know what they want, but then when you ask them, what they tell you is what they don't want. So if I said to you, what do you want? And you said, well, I really want a great woman in my life. And I would say, okay, well, tell me about that. Well, I don't want her to be a cheater. I don't want her to have financial problems. I don't want her to have baggage from an ex. Do you see the difference? I'm asking you what you want, and you're actually telling me what you don't want. So a better way to phrase that would be, I want a stable, positive woman who has worked through most of her life issues and has a spiritual background and has a firm idea of where she knows where she's going in life. So the difference between those two things is moving away. This is what it's called, moving away from values and moving towards values. So when you ask yourself what you want, if you find yourself saying, well, I don't want this and I don't want that, you're talking about things that you want to move away from. But if you ask yourself, what do I want? And you say, I want this and I want that and I want it to be this color, I want it to have these qualities, then you're moving towards what you want. Now that may not seem like a really big difference, but here's why it's important. The unconscious mind is more inclined to work towards what it wants. Now you've heard the whole carrot and stick analogy, right? Like people are motivated either by getting a carrot or by getting a stick. So it's like imagine a donkey who's got a carrot dangling in front of him to make him keep going because he wants the carrot. Or he's got someone behind him whipping him with a stick. So he's trying to get away from that person. Now, either one of these two forces can motivate you, but when you're motivated by the carrot or the moving towards value, as opposed to the stick or the moving away from value, it's a much easier time and a more pleasant time to get what you want. So that's a super important distinction when it comes to manifesting your heart's desire. Use moving towards values. First, you have to know what you want. I notice a lot of time when I'm working with people and I ask them what they want, they actually don't know. What they do know is they're unhappy, but they don't know what they want. So that's a whole other video, is figuring out what you want and why you may not be able to tap into that. But for right now, just know that be clear about what your desire is and think of it as something that you're moving toward as opposed to something that you're moving away from or something that you want to get rid of. Secondly, in order to manifest something, there's got to be some emotion behind it. It's got to be something that gets you excited. Obviously, when something gets you excited, there's a reason why it gets you excited, right? Well, that reason doesn't have to make sense to anybody else but you. Your job is to, number one, figure out what it is that you want, and number two, to be excited about it, have positive emotions about it. And that kind of reaffirms what I was saying about moving away from. If you're thinking about all these qualities that you don't want in someone, you're focusing on what you don't want. You don't want that. You want to focus on what you do want. So when you focus on things that make you happy, that bring in positive emotions to you, you're much more likely to manifest that goal. So have positive emotions about what you want. If what you think you want doesn't do much for you, keep digging because you haven't gotten it yet. Third thing is to have clarity about what you want. And that means, what exactly do you want? Can you describe it? When do you want it? So if you have a timeline for it, it's really important because then it sort of makes sense to your mind and it's easier for you to accomplish or easier for you to receive. Also, when you're writing down your goal, write it like you already have it. So if you say something like, I want to buy a house by August 1st of this year, that's just saying what you want. It's not putting you in the space of being there. So this is where you want to act as if or be as if, right? So if you, let's say, use that example, let's say you want to buy a house by August of this year. So you write down, house by August of this year. When you say, I want that, it's still kind of out in the ether. But when you say, it is August 1st of this year, I now live in a house that I own. Now, you may not have any idea how that's going to happen, and that's okay. But when you can write out your goal in a way where it's timed, where there's an actual date to it, and you're already in it, that is incredibly powerful. So you want to say, it is this date, and I am with the person of my dreams. It is this date, and I am driving the new car that I just purchased. It is this date, and I'm receiving the keys to the new home that I just purchased. So write it out like that. Make it very clear. Make sure it has a date or a time onto it, and make it like you're in it, like you're acting as if you're already there. That way your unconscious mind can start focusing on the end result. All right, now this is a big one. Trust. In order for goal setting to work, you gotta believe it's possible. And here's something about the universe. It is completely infinite. If you didn't know that before, you can know that now. There are infinite possibilities for you to receive what you want. If you are of the mindset that you can only manifest what is equal to the paycheck that you have, you're really limiting yourself, because the universe works in completely mysterious ways. I can't even tell you. In fact, I'll go as far as to say 9 times out of 10, what I have received in terms of goals that I had, what I have received, have had nothing to do with my paycheck. And that's shocking, but it's true. They've shown up in ways that I never could have expected. I couldn't dream this stuff up. Magical things, checks in the mail, checks in the mail that I wasn't expecting, checks in the mail that I was expecting but were double or triple, quadruple of what I thought they would be. And to this day, no idea why that is. But the point is I've learned to work in this mystical, magical soup of the universe, infinite potential. The universe is infinite mind, infinite potential. Nobody knows how it works. But if you're willing to tap into that and play along, even if you don't 100% believe it because it hasn't actually happened yet, I believe it because it's happened so many times now. I just of course it's going to happen in some crazy way I never thought of, because that's how it works. So, of course, having a great paycheck is wonderful, and you can manifest so much of what you want by having a paycheck and paying attention to how you manage your money. But if you're talking about things that you want, you can't figure out how to get them, trust me. Or actually, you don't even have to trust me. Do some research, do some reading, look around, ask around, pray and meditate, and you will learn that the universe is ultimate potential. So once you figure out what you want and you have the desire, deep desire for it, and you have a date that you want it and you see it in your mind in a positive way like you've already achieved it, then just trust that the universe can bring it to you, that you deserve it. You are a beautiful being of light and you deserve everything that you want. So trust it and act as if you already have it. All right, last little hot tip is once you've done all those steps, release it, let it go. If you can, stop thinking about it. Once you've cast the spell, or once you've said the prayer, once you've put it out there, once you've made it clear to the universe, God, whatever higher being you believe in, even if you don't believe in a higher being, whatever universal force that is out there, once you've put out your goal clearly, just let it go. Because unfortunately, we're not in charge of how things work out. So sometimes there's a certain pattern that's going on behind the scenes that's actually working in your favor. Like, believe the universe is always conspiring in your favor and wanting to give you what you want, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to happen at the exact right time and in the exact right way that you visualized. So that's why it's important to let it go. Because when you let it go, what you're saying is, I believe it's going to happen. I don't need to check in every day. I don't need to say, oh, why hasn't it happened yet? I'm so bummed out. I still don't have it. I still don't have it. I still don't have it. Because then what are you focusing on? I still don't have it, right? If you believe it and you know it and you trust it and you put it out there and the intention is clear, it's from your heart, let it go and move on to other things. And when you think of it fondly. This is why I love vision boards, and I super duper love Pinterest for this reason. Because when I have a goal, especially if it's an important goal, I do a Pinterest board. And if I ever have a moment of doubt, I go look at that board and it's all these positive images of my heart's desire. And it shifts my focus. So it's super important to have a positive and trusting focus. All right, last little thing about manifesting is if you know how to eat, you know how to manifest what you want. Think about it. When you go to a restaurant, you look at the menu, you choose what you want, and then you place your order. And you just sit there patiently at your table waiting for your food to come because you know it's going to come. You place your order. There's a assumption that the server knows what they're doing and they put your order in properly, right? So you don't go run into the kitchen every 5 minutes and look over the cook's shoulder and say, did you turn that burger right? Did you cook the carrots right? Are you doing your job? When is it coming? When is it coming? I mean, like, people would think you were nuts if you did that, right? But for some reason, when it comes to manifesting, we treat the universe like it doesn't know what it's doing. So we're always going, why hasn't it come yet? How come it's not happening yet? How come it's the wrong color? You know, what did I do wrong? Did I not place my order right? Where's my waitress? Where's my waitress? Where is it? Where is it, right? Like, we don't do that. That's just nutty talk. I mean, if you did that at a restaurant, people would ask you to leave, right? It's the same thing when you're manifesting. Just place your order. Be clear, trust, and know that you're going to get it. And then let it go and move on to the next part of your life. And in those moments of doubt, because we all have them, find a way to refocus your thoughts. And that's why I highly recommend creating a Pinterest board for your desires. So remember, your job is the what. What do you want and why? What are the emotions around it? What do you want? Why do you want it? You're not in charge of the how. Not in charge of the how it's going to happen. Don't think that it's limited to your paycheck. The how is the job of greater universal consciousness, not your job, okay? You're what and why, you are not how. Those are the basic secrets of manifesting. I hope that helped. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me because, of course, like, I could go into more detail about all these things, and perhaps I will in an upcoming video. Thank you so much for listening. I am excited to share this information with you, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.